What's up, everybody? This is the Sports League Podcast. Back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got the co-host, Amanda. Amanda, another great week of football, some upsets, some kickers coming through in the clutch. A lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of buzzer beaters this week, so I'm excited. It was a fun week.
Yeah, a lot to talk about. And we got John Abraham back on. John, great talking football with you and another fun week to talk about.
Yeah, you see I'm wearing my Jets hat now. I think I'm giving off so much energy to the Falcons. I gotta wear. I'm wearing the Jets hat today to try to show them some love. I'm trying to give them some of my good energy because
I was gonna say
whatever
they
I've been
need
doing,
it.
yeah, whatever I'm doing for the Falcons, they seem to be pulling out these games. So I'm switching up. I'm wearing the Jets for like a week, just a week though. I can't do it. I can't do it a whole year. I give you a week.
Hey, if they beat the Texans tomorrow night, that'll be proven. You got some good juju for them.
I've seen
Look
that
at that one.
people have thought that they might win this game, and it could be one of those games they sneak in and win. I've seen a lot of games like that this year. Okay, the Browns. I don't
Yeah.
know who we're starting with, but the Browns winning that game is come on, it's ridiculous.
Let's we can start with that
It
because that
wasn't
was a
it
great
wasn't a
game.
stunner though, like how you said. I'm just joking.
Yeah. No, I
No
mean,
little stunt.
division rivalry, you never know. But Amanda, who would have thought? Me and you made the picks for this game. We're all going with the Ravens, and who would have thought Jameis Winston comes in, provides a spark, and they shock the Ravens.
That was, I mean, I know we don't use the word stun, but that was intense. I don't know what happened there. Like that, I could not have predicted that. I I really had no words, honestly.
No, I think they honestly were playing to Deshaun Watson's type of chemistry what they were used to seeing. And you got a quarterback that literally doesn't have anything to lose.
Yeah.
So you get that opportunity as Jameis Winston. I mean, what better project can you have right now? You obviously see that the defense has been amazing the whole year. And
Hmm.
not to knock Jameis, because yeah, he did play well, but Hamilton and that drop fumble, I'm sorry, that drop pick, that
That was
shows you
huge.
like I remember my coaches used to tell me like if I miss a sack, they're gonna make the play the next play. Like if you miss, they're gonna make it. And that was one of the probably the biggest things that I've seen that characterize that. When you say if you miss a play, they're gonna make a play because like they came back and ended up winning the game. But I know Hamilton, that's probably gonna bother him like this week, next week. But he hopefully shakes it off and move on. But those are the kind of plays that in the NFL, you get an opportunity, and that's when you can tell like great players. And I'm not saying he's not a great player. He's definitely a great player. He's one of the best I've seen at safety. But missing that, I understand why he laid on the ground so long. that
Mhm.
was
Yeah.
that was hurt. But yeah, he knew like
Yeah.
Hurt his spirit.
yeah. So think about the player of the game's probably switched. So you got the player of the week being him, Jameis Winston, instead of the player of the game being Hamilton. Obviously, that would have been a total different perspective right there. The whole kaleidoscope changed.
Yeah, because he had a sack and a forced fumble. If he has the game-winning pick too, you're absolutely right on that. But he
Dropped it.
drops it. Browns come through. Amanda, after this game, the Ravens trade for wide receiver Deontay Johnson from the Panthers. And we were talking about that clip of Lamar Jackson hitting a Ravens
Oh,
receiver like in the face mask, and he didn't catch it.
wide open. My man
Yeah.
had no one within 20 yards around him. He got him hit right here and dropped the ball. So they immediately started looking for a receiver. And that's fair. Like that sucks. Like, but the issue, I don't think it was the receiver's fault that they lost the game. I know it was, little things here and there, but it was I mean, they didn't do a lot of the little things right. I mean, that wide open pass, there was the dropped interception. Eddie
Mhm.
Jackson was being run over by Tillman in coverage.
Yeah.
And then they only converted 2 of 10 third downs. And we've talked a lot on this podcast about how important third down conversions are, but it was just a lot of little things, little tweaks they needed to make. And these are all things that we had talked about them having an issue in, week two, and then one of these was an issue in week three, and they just had an issue with all of them in one week and lost a game to a one-win team.
Yeah. And on top of that, Justin Tucker now 3 of 10 on 50-plus yard field goals going back to last year. So he's really losing he can make it from under 50, but from out there, it's a long shot for him now.
He's
But
gonna be like Brett Favre, where I pretend he retired sooner than he did, so I don't have to acknowledge the last years on the decline there.
real quick, John, we don't have to talk about the Vikings Rams, but a big win for the Rams. The Vikings have lost 2 in a row after starting 5-0, and they lose tackle Christian Darrisaw for the season with a knee injury. They do trade for Cam Robinson, but a 2-game losing streak and you lose your starting left tackle, not a good spot to be in if you're a Vikings fan, right?
You still got Justin Jefferson. I mean, he's got to be good. Like that guy's putting up numbers that are amazing. So if I'm a player, and I'm not trying to knock anybody on the team, but
Yeah.
it's just like who you gonna choose? Like whether I lose this guy or lose this guy, and it sounds bad, but we will see how it goes for the rest of the year. But I think as long as they have Justin and they have the quarterback, they'll be okay.
Yeah, and they play on primetime Sunday Night Football against the Colts. That's going to be a big game, Amanda. The Vikings can't afford to go on a 3-game losing streak.
No, and I think it should be a good opportunity for a bounce back. The Colts don't really seem like, I mean, obviously they've made a decision this week with who their starter is going to be, but if you have your starting quarterback have the least accurate stats in the NFL and then take a break in the middle of the game, pull himself off the field, bench himself for a couple plays because he's tired, there's
That was
got to be
crazy.
something going on. I mean, strength and conditioning coaches should have been all over that. Maybe he had the flu and he was playing through it and we didn't know, but that is not a good look.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, John, as a former player, what's your thought on that?
I think it was just a young person, bad decision. I think being a young player, also being injured in the past, I think he felt like people will understand, I'm tired because of this. But you have to understand you're a starting quarterback. You're not a defensive lineman. You're not old tackles and quarterbacks don't come out of the game, period blank. You just know that. If you're an old lineman, you can go 15-play drive, 20-play drive, you don't come out of the game. As a quarterback, you never come out of the game, especially after a big run, especially after a season that you're having now that we're trying to find consistency. And having an older quarterback that would love to have that starting job and can still play well, it was a bad decision mentally. I think he really just thought that, I'm tired, man. But that's when you got to take a deep breath, call a timeout if you have to. I know it sounds bad, but just be like, timeout. Act like you heard or something, but just to come and tell everybody you're tired. I think it was just a young guy's mistake. Being 22 years old, you don't think that this is something that's people gonna understand. But nah, you gotta fake that one, bro. You gotta act like your ankle hurt or something. You can't get tired of
Half cramp
quarterback.
all of a
Quarterbacks
sudden or
don't do that.
something.
Yeah.
Something. You gotta say something. Don't come tell us that you were tired. Nobody's gonna be like, oh, you're tired. You're a quarterback. You're gonna come out of the game. You know what I mean? It's like a kicker saying that a kicker about to kick a thing and say, oh man, I'm tired. They'd be like, well, if you don't get the hell out of here.
Well, and also if he was lighting it up, if he was putting up Jaden Daniels numbers, maybe you could look past it. But when he's struggling,
there's you've never seen. Ask Amanda. Amanda, have you ever? You can go all the way to maybe Little League, maybe college when they're running you run an option type thing. But I've never seen a starting quarterback, especially in the NFL, take a play like I need to play. No, I've never seen it. Barring injury.
I grew up with Brett Favre. My man played with broken. We played
no matter what. That's crazy.
This is something that's gonna trail him for the rest of his career. With 15, 20 years from now, everybody's still gonna talk about that one time because it never happened before. That's the only thing amazing about it. You put something in history that's never happened. Like everybody was shocked. Like we seen him tap his head, and I thought he was hurt.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, he hurt. No, he came out. I was tired. No, we don't.
Well, and then you compare that to Jared Goff. They were up 52-14.
He was hurt,
and he was still in.
In the game.
Man, you look. It's just not a good look. And I am all for the younger generation prioritizing their mental health and taking personal health days and stuff. But not in the middle of a game.
A mental health play?
Mental health play? Is that a thing
play.
now?
Yeah.
I mean, he came back after that and had that 26-yard run right after it.
Right.
But still oh God. I mean, say anything else. I thought I was gonna puke.
Yeah, you gotta give it. You can't. I appreciate
my contacts came out of my eye. Just make up some we don't need to know.
Some stuff you can't do.
Yeah.
It's like a server at a restaurant. they forget to put your food in. And you're like, hey, where's my food? They're like, oh, sorry, the kitchen's a little backed up. Don't tell me you forgot to put it in. Make up some excuse. Bring me some chips and salsa.
You
Like,
hit it dead on the head.
I don't need the honesty.
They damn sure be forgetting. They be forgetting and swear. They be like, oh, I'll go check. And they know they ain't put your food in. That
Put a rush on it.
Good job, man. I like that one.
Oh, you always bullshit him. Oh, let me grab you another drink while you wait.
Yeah, okay, we're back. Yeah, you need something else? Okay, we good. Yeah.
Got some chips and salsa in the house? Trust me, we have our tricks, man. Surfers know what they're doing.
Question.
John, do you think so? They benched Anthony Richardson. They're going with Joe Flacco now. Do you think this is because he asked out, or because he's throwing 40% completion percentage, or a little above?
It's definitely because he asked to be out. It was
Really?
no other reason than that. It was strictly they're trying to set a basis on what we need from you. Like,
teach him a lesson.
Maybe he's not teaching a lesson, but maybe he's not taking it as serious as they think he is. Because, like I said, if you're coming out after one play, this might have something to do more with his preparation. It might have something more to do with how he's acting in the locker room. You know, a lot of times people don't focus in on football, so you do certain things to get their mind back into you're the starting quarterback. Like, you might be doing this, or you might want to do this outside of the game. And this is all just hearsay, but sometimes they really want to just get them zoned back in. Like, I understand that, you were hurt last year and you had your chance just to party and do all this and whatever, the season's here. Like, we need a quarterback. We need somebody who's going to be around, especially like with Deshaun Watson and stuff going on, and you got other quarterbacks getting hurt and you're taking a play off. No, this is definitely just to show, like, you can lose your job. Don't think because you were a high pick that we don't care. You got your money, but this could be your last contract.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the accuracy thing played a really big role in that. But let's talk about other players who are missing some plays. Stefon Diggs. I'm surprised the Texans survived the game on that. I mean, they had that late turnover, could have easily turned the tables in this game. But they pulled it together, and now Stefon Diggs is out.
For the
do
season.
you think there's anyone available who they could bring in to fill in that hole? Because it seems like everybody worth going after is off the market.
Yeah, everybody.
They're going to be getting Nico Collins back soon. They're thinking week 10 off of IR, so that's going to be good. They have Tank Dell. They've got Dalton Schultz. Yeah, it's a big loss losing Stefon Diggs, but I don't think they need to panic. And if they can get someone cool, but it is starting to dry up a little bit. Maybe you can get someone like Adam Thielen. I don't know.
But that's a tough. Yeah. That's a big loss for me. I think the Texans still are going to be okay, but I think the playoff implications are going to be totally different now. Not having Stefon Diggs, just his leadership, and also having a shit talker in your locker room is actually way better than people think. It gets you more motivated. And I know they have Stroud as a shit talker also. He's good with getting the team up, but having that kind of guy, having that little controversy really does matter. It helps. We like stuff like that. We like to be a little tippy on the scale, and I think that's what he bought. So not having him in the locker room, I think, is going to be bigger than just him on the field.
Yeah, and he's an excellent number 2 receiver, and so losing him, and it's big for Thursday night against the Jets because they don't have Nico Collins either, so they're really down coming up tomorrow night.
Make Tank work. Let's see if Tank can get back to where he was last year. That's the big thing, right? Let's see if Tank can be that guy.
Yeah, I keep waiting for his breakout game, but we're halfway through the season, so
get
cracking.
Yeah, he had a tutty though, right?
He did. Yeah. Four catches for 35 yards, but he had a tutty, and he'll get more looks, going forward. So,
Joe Mixon, shout out to the Texans D line. That was beautiful. Will Anderson Jr., Hunter. I mean, they 60% pressure rate. It's tied for the highest pressure rate by a defense any game this season. So they played beautifully. 5 sacks, 24 pressures. Like, they played beautifully. So they really kept them in the game and kind of helped branch over any issues they were having on offense with the injuries happening during the game.
Amanda, you started talking about the Lions and Jared Goff. Again, a great game. I mean, he only throws for 85 yards, but 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. The Lions blow out the Titans 52-14. The Lions are just cruising along at 6-1, but here we go, week 9 at Green Bay coming up. How are you feeling about this matchup, Amanda?
I think we have a better defense than who they've played recently. So I don't see them putting up 50, but the Packers have been keeping it way too close to their opponents. I don't like these buzzer beaters. This is what, twice in 3 weeks now that it's come down to the line for the Packers. Shout out to the fact that we have a kicker now, but I'm nervous. Oh no. Jahmyr Gibbs is fantastic. I'm excited that Jameson Williams is,
Is
missing.
suspended, yeah.
Yeah. Well, his suspension for PEDs, but then they found guns in his car. So I'm trying, like,
Yeah.
I'm very confused because a suspension about the guns in his car would have been one thing, but now that they're looking into warrants and stuff, I'm very confused how the PEDs happen to pop up off a cold medication. Like the timing's weird. Weird coincidences sometimes.
Amanda's going conspiracy theory on us.
Yeah, for sure.
See, there's
John,
No, weird
how are you
timing.
seeing this?
You can't argue with that.
Lions at Packers, John. This is going to be a great game, huh?
I can say last week, if they special teams, which I don't think is going to ever be like that again, like they special teams won that game, and it just made it. Even Jared Goff said it. They were just like our positioning after every return was pretty much. That's why he only had 85 yards. If you think that kind of game with 50 points, you would think it'd be like 300, 400-yard game. You can get a special teams to play like that. I'm telling you, offense, defense, it makes it so much easier.
Mhm.
And, even not even having your star defensive lineman, you can't tell the difference on that defense. I mean, everybody's flying around. Their D tackles are like getting off the ball. And I know they were playing Tennessee, but it's still a NFL team. Like, so it's not like they're just like shit. It's just like, they just want, it's
Well,
still
they
an
weren't
NFL
playing
team.
Carolina, so
Yeah.
well, and
Yeah.
like you said, I mean, I mentioned last week that the Packers gave a game ball to their punter, and Alex was like, "What?" The positioning of each kick. I mean, it was that he averaged 55 yards a kick or 52 yards a kick. Like the field position, just starting the other offense back that far. Special teams are so important with field position, and I mean, 30 yards on a kick is a huge difference for another team to overcome. So it's. Yeah, they played phenomenally, but it's crazy they put up that many points with that few passing yards. And I will say, I think Green Bay's strengths, we're better at run defense than we are at our secondary concerns me. There were a couple big plays this past week against the Packers that were pissing me off. So I think if Detroit focuses on those strengths, we might have a chance, but I'm not ready to pick that game yet. But man, the Titans, if they could just stop making these big, idiotic mistakes. I mean, turnovers, horrible special teams, completely opposite special team showing in this one, and so many miscues and penalties that were completely unnecessary in this game. I feel like as soon as they acknowledge one of their issues and say they're going to focus on it in practice or during the bye week or whatever, another one pops up and just sinks their ship the next week.
Yeah, they just seem like a bad team to me. And so I don't, to me, it kind of makes sense. The Lions kick their ass. Lions are 6-1, Titans are 1-6, and I just don't see the Titans winning more than 4 games this year,
Did you look at their total offensive yardage comparison in this game? The offense outgained Detroit 417 to 225.
Yeah, but like
What
John
the
said, the
hell?
special teams absolutely dominated. So
I think Goff said they only had like 35 plays. So he was like, it's hard to get a lot of offensive production with only 35, 40 plays. I'm like, you're right. But the point, I'm like, come on,
man. Speaking of Amanda's Packers, they jump out to a 27-17 lead and hang on to win 30-27 in Jacksonville. John, I've been talking about the Jaguars have been playing better football of late, and they were in position. They took the lead late. They almost stole this one, but we have to remember Jordan Love gets knocked out of this game, so Malik Willis, came in, and the Packers still are able to get the win. Brandon McManus, clutch, game-winning kick, second week in a row. John, how are the Packers winning even with Jordan Love getting hurt?
I'm just having a good team, and I think Malik Willis is playing great control football. I think people don't give him enough credit because he ain't turning the ball over. He's not coming in there trying to sling it. He's not trying to take somebody's position. He's basically like, I got a lead now, let me keep it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you can't really knock him down. Also, y'all special teams are playing well. Like you said, you got a kicker that is knocking it down and winning games for him. I mean, I know it's hard for you to say, Amanda, but y'all are playing good ball with or without Love.
Yeah.
I think Willis would be a starter on 5 other teams. Like I think he would be a starting
He
quarterback.
could be,
I mean,
yeah.
fantastic backup QB.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's playing extremely well, and I think hopefully Jordan Love it doesn't last long. Cause I had groin injuries my whole career, so I missed a lot of because you can't really tell when it's back, and him being a mobile quarterback and being able to move and everything. Hopefully it won't be lingering for the rest of his season.
Yeah, those can linger. Yeah, so hopefully he gets healthy soon. How is that looking? I mean, hopefully Jordan Love's healthy for the game against Detroit, right, Amanda?
They said everything looks like he's good to go today. But it'll be interesting. I do think a solid shout out to the coaching staff because the way they adjust the game plan from one quarterback to the other kind of seamlessly. Like we know Malik Willis is better on the ground. He's very mobile. He likes to run. But that 51-yard deep pass to Jaden Reed to set up that field goal to win at the end, that was beautiful. And I talked some shit about Malik Willis at the beginning of the season, and I
was thinking that.
I
was thinking that too. I don't want to say that. I wasn't gonna say that because you like,
listen. I like my stats. You guys know I love my numbers.
I'm like, hold on, this is the same person from.
I will own that shit. I mean, he's been playing well. He proved me wrong, but he came in as a starter with a QBR less than a spiked ball. Like, how are you worse than a spike? Like, that's terrifying. And I'm a very numbers. I like my stats. I like my rankings. Like, so the numbers. I mean, I know we talk a lot of shit about how people will turn over on 4th down because the analytics says so and leave points on the field, but I do like my numbers. They make me feel safe. Numbers don't lie. So he had to prove me wrong a little bit. So I'll own it. I'll eat my words. But I do like that the Packers are leading the league in interceptions, both giving them away and getting them. That's pretty cool.
Well, Xavier McKinney is ridiculous. He had another pick in this game, 6, leading the league.
I said he needed 3 this week, so he could get back to 1 per week, but he's still too short.
Well, do it against Jared Goff. He'll give you the opportunities.
Goff loves to throw him a pick, man.
Man, I was riding with the Jags. I needed a win. I needed Jacksonville to get that one, and then when Jordan Love goes down, I'm feeling optimistic. But they choked it.
It was a trap game. I told you it was a trap game for the Packers, man.
The Jags offense isn't the problem. The Jags defense has been very suspect this year. So John, Jags fall to 2-6. They're at the Eagles. The Eagles are looking much better. I mean, at what point, Jacksonville, you're about to fall to 2-7. At some point, they're gonna probably fire Doug Peterson mid-season, don't you think? I mean, they're too good to be this bad.
I think it's probable, but also I think they might feel like they need to end the year out with him, so Trevor is more comfortable. Because he's not playing. I'm not a big Trevor fan, and it has nothing to do with him as a person. I don't ever think because I'm on the media side of stuff now, so I'm just saying as a player, it's hard to say that I can trust him yet. You see he's a good player, but it's like you can't blame everybody around him all the time. Like it's like, come on now, it's time for you to step up. ETN's got to do his thing, Soel got to do his thing. It's like, but you're the guy that we're depending on. We want to see the more excitement out of you. So hopefully Doug Peterson can make it through the season. But y'all playing good teams too. I mean, the Jaguars are playing good teams. It's not that they're losing to, I guess, if they lose to Carolina, if they lose to Cleveland, maybe. If they lose,
they did lose to New England.
They losing to Green Bay pretty good. Yeah, you're right. But you get what I'm saying, man.
Yeah, no, for the most part, they play good teams. And the rumor as of right now, Amanda, what do you think is they fired Doug Peterson? Maybe you hire Bill Belichick with the Jaguars this offseason.
I feel like Belichick's happy right now.
I think Bill. Thank you. I was going to.
He's running his mouth. He is.
He's making the same kind of money. He's making the same kind of money and don't have to work as hard. All he got to do is show up for like 15 minutes.
No filter. My man's PR is off. Like the shit he says right now, he is cracking me up. And I have never seen this much personality out of this man. Like he was stoked.
I told everybody that.
He bored me to death.
I was like, y'all don't understand how funny Bill Belichick is, because I went to I went to his office right before I got traded to, well, not traded, I got cut, and I went to Arizona because I wanted to go to New England. And I sat there and talked to him for like 3-4 hours. I'm like, dude, this dude is hilarious, and people don't even know, because he's like totally different from, and it's kind of like that dry old man humor, but it hits on point. It's like on point.
Listen, I love some old man humor, but in his interviews, my man like grunts. Like he's like a caveman. Like, we play next week. Like, man,
Well,
I need some life. So I love this version of Belichick. I don't think he can go back.
Right.
Well, he desperately wants to catch Don Shula's all-time wins record. So that's all he really wants to do is, if he coaches again, is past that.
He good though, man. Ain't no point. I think he did everything possible. That's just a number stat, like we're saying. That don't say the greatness of what he did though.
No.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's go Cardinals Dolphins. I think we're all kind of surprised you get Tua back, and most people were assuming at home the Dolphins are going to get a big win and start to turn their season around. Tua played well, but not good enough to beat the Cardinals. A hard-fought game, 28-27 on a Chad Ryland's second straight game winner. John, how do you feel about this one? A huge win for the Cardinals and a tough loss for Miami.
Well, I mean, you finally got Tyreek Hill doing something. I mean, I would say that's a good thing. But for me, I think it was a good game just for Miami and for Arizona. I think Miami simply just having Tua back, him playing well, him being able to throw the ball. You see the difference in the team, even them getting close to like this game being close to the win. It shows that the magnitude that Tua has in the locker room, the magnitude that Tua has as a player. Like I said, Tyreek Hill, put up 6 catches for 72 yards. I think that's the best he had since he left. So for me, that stands out more than the win. And I think just for being a fan of football and just like being a person that want to see somebody achieve, that's bigger than the game of football. Like seeing him be able to play and just have an opportunity to play this game. And Arizona played well. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, and like I said, the Dolphins got to get back to winning now. They've been losing every game, stinking. They've been stinking. I mean, they ain't even been trying to play. And Tua got to get all that what he left behind to get back. Like y'all have confidence again. Like he's trying to build his team to have confidence again. Get Waddle, get all those guys back into like the different type of offense, and then a right-hand quarterback to a left-hand quarterback again, like I was saying earlier. So you got to get used to the left hand again. So it's a whole different scheme of stuff. But hopefully they'll be better. I think the end of the year we'll see them win 6 or 7 more games. It's possible if Tua stays healthy.
Do you think there's anything? I heard someone talking about maybe they're starting to figure out the Mike McDaniel offense. Do you think defenses are no?
No, they just play. They just play Miami. I can't see them. Who they got next week?
Dolphins. Let's look here. Dolphins.
Cardinals. Who the Cardinals?
Cardinals host the Bears. Bears at Cardinals.
Okay.
We're about to lose
the Cardinals be back to Cardinals next week.
Yeah, they'll win that.
They've won 3 out of their last 4. The only game in the last month they've lost was to the Packers. Yeah. And that was a 20-point trouncing, but they beat the Dolphins, the Chargers, and the 49ers in the past month.
Yeah.
Like,
good wins.
They annoy the shit out of me, though, because they're so hot and cold.
Yeah,
like, they'll beat good opponents, lose to the Packers beautifully. That was a great game for me. And then, like, I don't know who the Cardinals are, and it makes me crazy. Because every time I'm like, all right, I get a feel for them, they beat the 49ers or lose by 20 points. Like, I have no idea of who this team is because they cannot, like, their longest streak is 2 games in a row. Like, they're so hot and cold. They make me crazy. And there's a lot of talent on the team, but it's very young. And I feel like as soon as they get in a rhythm, like, they're like, oh, let's try something new. And then they fuck it up.
Well, the good news is potentially is that it is mid-season. They've still got time to work it out, and they're tied for first place. Despite being up and down 500 football, they're tied for first. So they're right in the mix. That's all you can really ask for if you're a Cardinals fan. For the Dolphins, they fall to 2-5, and they play at the Bills in Week 9. So hopefully they turn it around for that game. That's a big game. You don't want to be 2-6. So
yeah, that's a good. I think that's a good measuring stick for Tua to see if he's really back. And also I think it might bring a little more fire into it because it's a division game. Buffalo is supposed to be the high caliber team, and sometimes they bring the best out of players like Tyreek Hill and the best out of players like Tua and some of those guys. We playing them. Oh, we gotta. This is how we do our stuff. Because think about Tua first game back. we didn't care. Like, me personally, I didn't care if he, threw for 1,000 yards. Just the fact that he was out there playing. I wanted to see the team, being better together, and they looked better. They honestly looked
Yeah,
like they
they
could have
did.
won this game.
Him
Yeah,
being
that's a
out
good
there
point.
was a
Like you
win for
said,
the
it's not a
team.
bad Arizona team.
Yeah, yeah.
I think him being
Um,
on the field is a win. So
Exactly.
obviously whatever happened scoreboard wise wasn't what was most important to them in this one.
yeah, being on the field and finishing the game, staying healthy. Yeah.
Yeah. Now this week is big though. Like this week, okay, you playing now, so all that you scrapping up now, so we don't care. You better win this damn game. Like,
Was anyone else yelling at him to slide when he took off on that run? Because I was like, you
Everyone
better
was.
sit. If you get another concussion, sir, I will come to your house. Like, no, just slide, sir. I was feisty. I didn't want to watch his games. It makes me nervous. I don't want to watch the kid die on the field. I'm like, no,
Well,
stop that.
yeah.
the question is now, so you play the Cardinals and you'll gladly slide. It's your first game back, whatever. Now you're
Next
playing the
week.
Bills. It's a big ass game. Are you still gonna slide, or are you gonna put your head down and try to get that extra yardage? Hopefully he's smart, protects himself.
Oof.
Staying in the AFC East, Jets at Patriots, and John, I know you got the Jets hat on. This is a tough loss here in New England. This sucks. They fall to 2-6, and this Jets team is way too talented to be losing games like this.
Well, you say they have talented players. You can't say the team is talented because they're not playing up towards them. So, a lot of times people always say because you got names on your team, you're only going to be good. But until they get entwined with each other, I think the egos got to go away. Like, I think everyone on that team think they're great, which they are great as players. Like, all these players that they have been great at one moment in their life. But right now, you don't see it. Like, I think they try to run. Like, I think the Patriots were smart because they just try to they just punished them. They just we're gonna just like outplay y'all, and not even like with some sophisticated plays or anything like that. It's just like, let's man to man, let's run at Sauce. Let's see if Sauce can take some hits. Let's see if Sauce want to do this. And they just outplayed them. And Aaron, at the end of the game, they threw the ball and they threw it. They didn't even try to it was kind of like they threw it right over the middle. Adams caught it, and it was just like, okay, game over. It was just like they knew that they didn't. They just don't look. They don't like a team that really, I guess, have that edge right now. Like they don't like they're consistent in wanting to win. It's kind of like we have so much stuff to say the reason why we're not winning that we are not even worrying about why we should be winning. Like we have Breece Hall. We have Devontae Adams. We have a plethora of things like you saying. They're the more talented team. No, they have more talent on their team. Like, it's a big difference. And you showed that like they're not a talented team. They just have a lot of people that are talented on their team.
Well, and Amanda, one of the more glaring things from this game, in my opinion, is the defensive side of the ball for the Jets. New England converted multiple 3rd and longs, including a huge 4th and goal with 25 seconds left to take the lead.
That was insane. If Jacoby Brissett makes you look bad, your defense needs to have a long, hard talk about what was happening on that field. Because, I mean, he was firing on all cylinders in the 4th, but I mean, they got to do something there because that 34-yard to Kayshawn, beautiful. Where was the defense? Like these receivers were so open, and then we've got no run defense either. I mean, Stevenson was all over the place in this game. And then special teams. I mean, we've got 62-yard punt returns. Like what? Yeah. So a lot of issues there. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the issue in New York. I think the whole team just is kind of hung up on how good they are and have been as individuals. Like John said, there's no cohesion on this team, no teamwork. Like the Packers don't have any like big names besides the running back. And I guess Jordan Love is a big name after last year, but they are such a team and everyone is so like intertwined together and they practice together and like they're very supportive. This team is just playing the blame game and they're not getting better week to week. And I don't know if I can pick them to win anymore this season.
The blame game. I feel the same way, man. I feel like they just have so much that they can say the reason why they're not winning compared to like, okay, this is why we supposed to be winning. Like, y'all, all that BS. No, let's just play ball. Because like you said, I've gotten beaten by teams that were way less talented because there were better teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the
That's why we love
historic.
football. 'Cause it's such a team game, and yeah, you never know.
Well, what's
Um,
crazy is they made NFL history. The Jets did yet this weekend. They're the first team out of 751 teams to score more than 20 points, not turn the ball over, allow fewer than 250 yards, and lose.
wow.
That's happened 750 other times, and no team has ever lost the game until this weekend.
Jeez.
Way to break a record.
Mhm.
I'm gonna continue to say because I picked the Jets to go to the Super Bowl this year, and that pick is looking terrible. But John, I'm gonna continue to say I think ownership panicked way too early in the season. I think firing Robert Saleh when they did was a mistake, and I think that has completely put them in a very tough position for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I definitely do also, and that's what I was saying about the players not really being there now, because you gotta understand a lot of those guys were picked by Robert Saleh. A lot of those guys'
Exactly.
jobs depend on Robert being in that light. You know what I mean? So having that coach leave, you go home thinking, am I going to be here next year? You know, I know
Yeah.
I know I can go to Coach Solid. I know he wanted me here, but now you have a new head coach. Next year you have another new coach, so I might not even be here next year. So coming to work and trying to play and thinking about like other things besides life is
Yeah.
tough. Like I
Yeah.
mean, I've been there with coaches leaving, and we had to get an intern coach, and it was just kind of like, well, it's gonna be different next year. Like a lot of these guys here, you know, the other coaches in love with, they ain't gonna be here next year, man. It's a big
Yeah.
transition, and that takes a lot out of you know, guys who want to play.
But
Yeah.
what's crazy is this is the best season the Jets have had as far as quarterbacks in 5 years. It's the first time since 2019 they've had double-digit touchdown passes,
Wow.
like 10 or more. That's such a low bar. Like the fact that they haven't hit that. So
That's such a low bar.
I mean, 10 touchdown passes in a 17-week
you
season.
are like the worst. You give a great compliment. You got them backhand compliments. Oh, you know, this is the best of yeah.
But think about it though, like people be blaming Aaron Rodgers for everything. Like, no, their stats going back to even before, I mean, 2020, before Robert was even there, they
Right.
had an issue in offense. He got there, they had the, dead last defense, 28th or below for years, and then Aaron Rodgers shows up and suddenly everything's his fault. Like, no, this has been going on for a while.
That's the national media for you. They love low-hanging fruit. They love to attack the quarterback. You know, they don't like to talk about team football. They like to talk about the quarterback, and Aaron Rodgers is very, polarizing.
It was like the Browns blaming everything on Baker Mayfield. Like,
Yeah.
okay, yeah, here's the problem.
Yeah. Let's go to John's other team, the Falcons. Go into Tampa Bay, get out to a 31-17 lead, and hang on to win 31-26 to sweep the Bucks and position themselves in a great spot midway through the season atop the NFC South. A great win for the Falcons, huh, John?
Yeah, because it's a win. I mean, they don't have to play them no more this year, so that's the biggest thing. That's the big. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't like I said. Whoever set the schedule up was the weirdest people in life. They play like
So weird.
like literally Carolina. They play everywhere in the division, and then they play Tampa already. So they pretty much gonna win this division. It's not even.
Yeah.
There's
So
no way they
why
can
They
lose.
shouldn't play a division rival twice
So,
before week 9. That's
Yeah.
It's just
asinine.
crazy. So they played
Yeah.
twice, but also you can see the big. You know, not having Evans is just. I didn't know he was that important, but like I was telling someone, it's like he know how to play DB also.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah.
when Evans is in the game, he'll knock the ball down. You know, he'll come
he's
back
throwing
to
up
the ball.
blocks.
Yes, he does everything that these other guys really just don't do, and you can tell because of the the interceptions that he's throwing. But I can say Tampa defense played well. Kyle Pitts finally got like, just he's looking like the guy that Matt Ryan had his rookie year when he threw for when he catch for 1,000 yards. He's getting open. I think he sees that presence of now I can get open and I'll get the ball. He almost made a big mistake, trying to celebrate a little too early, and Winfield made a hell of a play.
Crazy.
And we don't. It probably wasn't a touchdown, but it was tight end day. So the tight ends did show their ass. The whole NFL seemed like they knew it was tight end day because every tight end was getting off. But I think Bijan being just playing strictly running back, and they stopped trying to trick people with him. and just having him line up in the backfield and running the ball and maybe like throwing like a little small passes to him out the back. That's what's really changing up the offense. They letting Kirk be Kirk and let him throw to everybody and not trying to get Bijan like 15 catches or something like that. They like, look, let's give it to him out the backfield and let him work.
Yeah.
And I think that's been working. I think that's the biggest difference. And I think that's what really helping the O-line, because they don't have to worry about like, okay, is it going to be a run or pass? Because, you know, it might be a quick pass to Bijan or Bijan's in the backfield. Just beat the hell out of the person in front of you and let Bijan do his thing. So I think that's the biggest thing. Because Bijan going for 100. Algiers coming in to relieve him here and there. I think that's been the perfect situation. And also it makes the play action make sense.
Mm-hmm. Amanda, I was going to say take one of the touchdowns away from Kyle Pitts, but I forgot it's National Tight End Day. That's why that touchdown counted. And
that pissed me off. That ball was loose. He was not in the end zone. It was not a fucking touchdown.
That was a hell of a play by Winfield Jr.
He made the play too. Like, that pissed me off. I was hollering at the TV. But honestly, the defense for the Bucks, other than that play, they really didn't rally as much. Like the offense was rallying in the fourth quarter. They were trying to pull it back. But the defense wasn't really making the good early stops that they needed to. But yeah, that play made me a little mad. There was some reffing this week that I had some questions with.
That was deep.
No Chris Godwin, no Mike Evans definitely played a role in this, but another tight end, Cade Otton, really stepped up for Tampa Bay. 9 catches, 81 yards and 2 touchdowns. Falcons are. Go ahead.
Just something stupid. Do you think his parents knew he was going to play football and his name would be written C. Otton all the time? We got Cotton out here, like.
That's funny.
I don't know.
It's so funny to me. I'm like, his name is just Cotton. I don't call him Cade Otton. He's just Cotton. What's his name?
Shout out to Jesse Bates though. Jesse Bates is playing all pro football again. He should be first team this year. Interception, calls, fumble. He's doing his thing, man. He's really been just the catalyst of that defense, man. Like keeping, because you see how close this game looked like it was. This game really wasn't close, but it looked a lot closer. But he's been manning up this year, man. Yeah,
career high 3 forced fumbles already. So he's having a great year. John, the Falcons are 5-3. They'll host the Cowboys in Week 9. You know, they should be favored. That's a game they should win. But Dallas, you know, they're always tough. They're going to be ready to go. How are you feeling about that one?
I'm trying to see how they interact with outside of the NFC South, because when they played Seattle, they just didn't get up for the game because they knew they had a game next week that was more important. Yeah. So hopefully they won't see this as not an important game, because, you know, they're killing the division, but outside of the division, it's kind of like they play kind of shaky. You know, even when they play Philly, you know it was a good game. It's still just like, are you going to be able to get up for games outside of the, you know, because like, we can make the playoffs just by winning the division and do things like that. But are we going to be good enough to play teams like Detroit? You know, are we going to be good enough to play? We have to play LA. We have to play, you know, some other teams. So this is going to be a matchup to see if they're real or not, because that's when the playoffs is really going to matter. So, and Dallas is a beatable team, as we know. That's why I kind of threw Jesse Bates out there, because Jesse Bates plays like this, or, you know, even Simmons come along and plays like he needs to play, because he'll throw it to him. You just got to be ready for it, because the pass rush is horrific. The pass rush is horrific, and I hate to talk about the Falcons, and I'm just being real. You know, I love Judon, but he has not been the acquirement they thought he was going to be. In order for them to get to the quarterback, they have to blitz, and they blitz in Ellis, and that's about the best they can get for that. But you know, Grady Jarrett is playing his ass off. But like I said, if it's just Grady, you have nobody coming from the outside. With quarterbacks like Dak, they know how to get out of the pocket. So if they stay in the pocket, possibly, you know, it'll be a better game. But if they can get Dak to move a little more, and, you know, I mean, just something, you know, and I feel bad because, you know, I know Judon is a great player, but like I said weeks ago, he's more like he's not like a quick guy to get to a pass rush. He's more like a hustle. So like I looked at his highlight tape, and it was just like, shoot, he just hustling. It was no just like beating the guy off one move and getting to the quarterback. Man, where's Arnold Ebiketie been at? He's got nothing this year. I liked him. I had a long conversation about him on another podcast, and I ain't gonna bring
Yeah.
him up. I'm just glad he in the NFL, and I'm glad he making money. That's all I'm gonna say
Yeah.
about that.
We're gonna go look that up
Hey,
after this.
like I said, sometimes you don't know exactly why people are in the NFL. People think this is their dream job. Like everybody, I used to be in the locker room. Some guys came there just to go to work and just to go home. So I don't know. So that's all I'm gonna put on that one.
All right. Well, that's a good answer on that one.
Fair enough.
Amanda, Eagles at Bengals. I got this one wrong. I took Cincy at home. You took the Eagles. You were believing in Philly, and I did not see this one turning into a blowout. What did you see? Philly kicking their ass, winning by 20 in Cincy.
I thought it was going to be closer than that. I just don't have trust in Cincinnati this year. Like I
Yeah.
thought coming into this season that they would be better. Like they rallied so hard last year to overcome the injury and the backup quarterback situation that I expected a lot more from them than we're getting. And I know, you know,
Yeah.
they're doing okay. They were just below 500 coming into this game. They won this game, they would have broken even with 500. But I'm not seeing it. I don't really know why. And the Eagles have been the same way. Like let's not pretend like the Eagles haven't been objectively garbage in a couple
They're starting to
games.
figure it out, though. They're
Yeah, but
starting
I feel
to.
like they're starting to improve. They're starting to, you know, kind of join the team together and figure out where the glue needed to go. But
Hmm.
the defense just didn't really show up in the first half of this game for Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Had a fast start in offense, but it just, I mean, the missed field goal, 3 turnovers, one being a turnover on downs. I mean, the offense kind of fell apart, and Cincinnati, their defense that let the Eagles score on 6 straight possessions going into the second quarter.
Their defense has been a liability.
So
No
bad.
T. Higgins. But John, the Eagles are starting to hit their stride here. They get the 5-2. They're undefeated when AJ Brown plays.
Yes, I think it's the confidence is finally getting there. I never doubted him. I've always been a Hurts fan, even though people hate him. I've always been a fan of him because he's persistent and he's always went through anything and always became a winner out of it. So,
Mhm.
and having Barkley, you know, putting up 100 yards don't hurt. Having him finally being comfortable, like after injuries and after all that other stuff he had in his past, and I think he's playing football like back when he was drafted. Like I think the injury bug is out of his head now. I think like people worrying about him getting hurt, and he's just playing football. You see how he running people over? He's not messing around. Like it's not like
Yeah.
he's trying to dodge people. He's going out the mouth. He's taking pounding. And I think, like you said, having everyone back, I think that confidence that AJ brings to them, even with Devontae, like Devontae's not a rah guy. That's AJ. So, you know, like
Yeah.
I don't want to be a number one. I'm good at number 2 right now. I did my number 1 in college. I'm good. I like
Yeah.
being like, let AJ get his thing and let me do this right here. I think everybody has found their position. I think even the new center now has more confidence. I saw him get beat a lot earlier, but I think now that since, you know, he's in there and they're doing the push with him and everything. So I think his confidence has rose to it, which also will raise everyone around him. Like, you know, even with Johnson and all those guys, it's going to raise everybody confidence when everybody's feeling good now. Like it's different when you have one guy, oh, you got to replace Kelsey. Now he's just worrying about everything he does. Now he's just falling in the scheme and being like, shit, it's my team now. Like I'm tired of everybody talking about him. I see him on TV and all this, and that's a lot to weigh sometimes when you're replacing someone else. But I think he's falling into good, and I think he's playing way better than he did in the beginning of the year.
Amanda, do you think Jalen Hurts mismatching shoes played a role in this at all? His tweets.
I like conspiracies, not good luck charms. I don't give a shit.
Right.
That was a pretty cool look, though. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, it was something. We know that man likes his fashion
Yeah.
chances. I wish I could blame more of Cincinnati falling apart on Orlando Brown going out mid-game, but I don't think his presence would have made much of a difference. I mean, Hurts had a perfect 9 of 9 for 150 yards and a touchdown after halftime, 3 rushing TDs. Like he just had
Wow.
a game. They were firing on all cylinders, and their defense actually showed up pretty well too. I mean, I know we
Guys are
focus a
standing
lot
up.
on the Pro Bowl team that is the Eagles offense, but their defense, I mean, they had their 8th straight scoreless first quarter. And they, you know, didn't let the other team come in and swoop them. And we've seen teams go down in the first quarter and never be able to make that back up. And the defense really held on in this one for them. And I know they took a lead and held on to it, but we've seen defenses kind of let off the brakes a little bit because their team takes a lead, and
Yeah.
they seemed like they were holding on and just like they came into this game intending to play four full quarters, which was something I said that they didn't do many times leading up to, week 5, week 6. So it was nice to see them actually be out there and playing like they, had a game to win for all 4 quarters.
Yeah, and I've been pretty disappointed with Lou Anarumo's defense. That was really one of like a strength to their team when they were going on deep playoff runs in the past, and now this year it's become a weakness. So hopefully they get that figured out. The Bengals host the Raiders in Week 9. They're 3-5, so an opportunity to get a big win against the Raiders, because then they play at the Ravens on Thursday night in Week 10. So they better beat the Raiders. That's all I gotta say for Cincy. John, Saints at Chargers. I mean, we didn't expect this one to be that good of a game, and it wasn't. The Chargers easily kicked the Saints' ass. I mean, we talked a little bit about Spencer Rattler and not having faith in him. He gets pulled in the third quarter for Jake Haener. The Saints are just a mess right now.
We don't got to talk about the game. It's the Aints.
Yeah,
I don't give a damn about the game. Honestly, like I said, the Falcons are doing great this year, and it seems like they're gonna win the division. I just don't like how the schedule. I know this has nothing to do with the Saints game, but I'm like,
it does though, because it's not like they're gonna come back and win the division. Like
it was like games. I don't get that. It went Carolina, Tampa. I'm like, dude, like who scheduled this thing? So now I'm just like my whole, y'all don't understand. My whole life is boring now. I'm like, well, Atlanta's going to the playoffs. I know that. So it's just like, it's like not even nothing to talk about. But the Saints, I don't know what they can find right now because they might need to trade for Malik Willis. I don't know.
Oh,
hey, why not? Why not? Hey,
calm yourself down. Jordan Love is a fragile little flower.
Why not get Malik? Hey,
thank you.
Malik look.
Well, you can get Spencer Rattler back.
Good.
Let me just say that 10 + 2 = 12, and we need both of them to equal Aaron Rodgers. So no, you can't have him. They're a duo. They're our tandem quarterbacks.
Amanda, you said so Amanda, I know you're seeing these Chargers. Hugh laughed at me when I said Chargers are gonna win a playoff game, but look at the Chargers beating up on your Saints.
A playoff game and when have I ever claimed the Saints ever? I didn't even like when Drew Brees was there. Nah, dude.
It totally doesn't count.
Also, if we were assigning one of these teams to me, wouldn't I get the Chargers?
No, I called the Chargers. You don't get the Chargers.
We got my U of M reunion team over here. I will say you did say they were. I literally wrote it down. Chargers winning playoff game right here. I have it. Don't worry. It's on my notes. I reference all the shit Alex has said is going to happen over here, and then I come back to it when I need to tell him he was wrong. Speaking of Alex being wrong, Abe, you know what our record is for the season? How many games ahead of him I am?
Please tell me.
She's been cheating, okay?
11 games.
Yeah, 11.
So this is the half point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Almost. One more. There is no half point because it's 17 games now. It's weird.
I know, but I'm saying if you're going to 8 or 9, so it's right around the half point. So this is kind of like going into the 9th week, right?
Yeah.
I'm just setting it up for my second half comeback. That's all I'm doing.
Hey, bro, I want to see you. I ain't gonna lie, man. Amanda
That's
might.
A hole.
She's good at her picks. I'm not gonna lie. She's pretty good.
You better go opposite the rest of the way.
Well, coming into this week when we did our notes, we only had one game we picked opposite on, and then Alex is like, "Nah, this is my comeback week," and then he starts switching his picks around mid podcast. That's what gets him.
Get you every time, bro.
That's why.
He don't like getting beat by a girl. That's what it is. Like, he got too much masculine energy. Stop worrying about that. She's right.
Toxic masculinity is showing.
Yeah, that's all it is. I'm riding with you, man. I don't care what.
Mm-hmm. I'm 73% on the season.
Malik Willis to win games with the Packers.
We need to go to gambling. We need to get gambling.
I don't gamble. I overthink it if there's money involved.
I don't gamble either. I ain't gambling like about 6-7 years.
No, my parents had really addictive personalities, so I avoid anything, and I'm too competitive.
No, I get it. I told you I just stopped. I literally just stopped. People always try to get me on the look. Oh, we should do this. I said, no, I can't do it.
Nope, can't. No Vegas for me.
So Chargers are 4-3. They play at the Browns in week 9, a chance to get to 5-3. So hopefully keep this thing rolling, get into the playoffs.
In this game, I gotta say, Lad McConkey was fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Career high marks, receptions, yards, touchdowns, receiving yards over expected. I mean, he was ridiculous.
He did. He played well.
And Herbert is I don't know what the correct way to say this. He's on the longest active streak of no interceptions in the quarterback pool right now. Fifth.
Yeah, Josh Allen just threw one. Yeah.
So
do y'all pay attention to the things like that though? Okay, you say about McConkey, right? So McConkey can be famous for the rest of his life for just one game, but you have some guys that played years. Like I'm just saying, it just happens that way sometimes. Like it can be 10 years from now. Y'all remember McConkey? He came out and had that game. But you can have a consistent guy like Jameis Winston, or like even Baker Mayfield at some point. We'd be like, this dude was a bust. But him having that one game might be the highlight of his career. But people buy his jersey now. It's just like funny how stuff works.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah.
He could do nothing for the rest of his career, and people are still gonna Minshew madness. I mean, that's the whole thing.
Yeah, Minshew, because just for Jacksonville, he came with the Minshew. It's like that's all it is. It's like some people can just literally live and just be a mascot for the rest of the
Oh yeah.
I love that. I do references like that all the time where a player has one game in their career, they go off, and I'm always referencing like Jeremy Langford for the Bears, a running back, beast.
What's the guy from the Super Bowl, the one catch? I cannot remember his name. Tyree.
Tyree.
What was his name? He caught on his helmet.
David Tyree.
Man, he can walk around New York rest of his life. Don't have to worry about it. Now, I be seeing him at games and stuff. I'm like, this dude ain't do shit. I played 15 years. I could barely get in the Jets.
Well, remember, you guys probably don't remember Chris Matthews, the receiver for the Seahawks, had a hell of a Super Bowl game when they lost to the Patriots. Never heard of him before that, never heard of him after it, but balled out in the Super Bowl. So
I mean, it doesn't matter if you lose.
Whatever. Bills, Seahawks. The Bills cruised past the Seahawks 31-10. I almost picked this one. I'm glad I didn't. Amanda, Josh Allen throws an interception, so I guess he sucks now, right?
No.
No.
My baby Brett Favre, I love him. What's funny though is like this kid should have had like 6 interceptions by now. People just dropped his interceptions the first half of the season. Like there were at least 3 passes that should have been picked off, and we're just like, the defender doesn't have hands. Like he's hit defenders in the 2 hands multiple times, and they're just like, oh, whoops, it was wet. Like, so his stats look good for this season, but he's still as inaccurate as ever.
How about that Keon Coleman one-handed touchdown grab over Rick Woolen? Yeah,
I love him.
Yeah,
he's funny too.
Yeah, he's been a great pick for them. James Cook had a great game, 2 touchdowns.
Let's go opposite of James Cook. Seattle, 32 yards rushing combined.
You're not going to win anything doing that with Kenneth Walker and those guys.
So bad.
Unless you throw for 500, you might. But Geno had 200.
Geno's not a gunslinger like that.
But he's actually leading the league in yards.
Who? Geno?
No.
Yeah.
He's leading the league in yards and passing yards.
Really?
It's not sustainable though. They're 500. I don't trust the Seahawks team, John.
Oh no, I don't either. I'm not saying I like the team. I'm just telling you stats. I'm Amanda right now. Hey, I'm a numbers guy. I'm a numbers guy. Hey, I'm telling you, he's leading the league in
Sam Howell.
He's averaging almost 300 yards a game, but not. So they did hold him to 212. So he was like 100 yards from his average. But I mean, he's still leading the league right now.
No DK in that game
one
either.
interception. What was his QBR in this game? I'm so curious.
Who? Josh Allen?
No.
Geno?
Yeah, Geno. No touchdowns, 1 interception, 200 yards. Like, what does that look like?
I don't know. But no DK Metcalf made me pick against them. You don't have DK out there. I'm not picking you.
Well, we knew that was going to be a huge deal. So this game surprised no one, I don't think. I do think the Bills looked like they were trying to lose early in the game. They had that early 3-and-out, looked good, and then they looked like they were trying to give it away for a little bit there. But they pulled their heads out of their asses and, went on to trounce Seattle as they should without DK Metcalf.
Right.
Bills are running away with that division. No one's even close.
I mean, they've won 4 games by 21 or more points this season. Like the Bills are hot when they're playing a good game.
The Jets are underachieving. The Dolphins, have been hurt. So big game, week 9, Bills Jets or Bills Dolphins. I mean,
I got the Bills all day in that one. I would love to hear Alex's thoughts on his Bears at Commanders. We had a fun little last minute Hail Mary, Jaden Rogers over here. Tell me about this game, Alex.
I've got a lot to say on this one. So let's get started on this one. So,
Dave, you want to go make some popcorn real quick? Should we?
The Bears offense started so slow, down 12-0. Took the Caleb Williams had 50 yards passing going into the fourth quarter. It was terrible. It took them forever to get going. They finally get going. They take the lead with 23 seconds left, and you're thinking, we got outplayed all game, and you're gonna steal a win. That's awesome. And then to give up that Hail Mary was just a typical Bears loss. Just rip your heart out, But who the hell calls on a 3rd and goal at the 1 and you're losing? Who calls a handoff to the backup center? John, what the hell is that? He fumbles and the Commanders recover. Shane Waldron needs to get fired. I don't know what he's thinking. And DJ Moore called him out. The craziest thing about this game, 4 Bears players with comments post-game calling out coaches. DJ Moore says, I don't know what the hell that was, handing off to the center. He's like, I didn't think we were going to call that in an important game. Kevin Byard says, I would have played press and not allowed another quick catch to get into position for the Hail Mary, which we didn't do. Jalen Johnson says, that last play on the Hail Mary, it was rushed. It didn't have to be. We had 3 timeouts left. We could have taken a timeout and made sure we were set up and ready for that. And then Cole Kmet says, players didn't respect the game in practice leading up to this matchup. To me, that's on coaching to have your players ready to go. It's just all around, man. Fire Matt Eberflus. I can't say that loud enough. What do you think, John?
I think everything you said is correct, and also this game has gotten so interactive with fans and social media and want to be pointed out and want people to
This picture right here.
You want to be noticed on a game that has 21 other people on the field at the time, and you end up getting noticed by doing the dumbest shit you could possibly do. And think about it, if he would have been paying attention to the game, he might have been in better position, even though he was the one that tipped the ball to the guy. That's the most ironic stuff that you can do. This is everything you was doing right now. So think about it, even if he would have stayed over there and cheered, they probably wouldn't have caught the ball. But since I'm serious, think about it. If he would have stayed over there, if he would have stayed there and cheered, the ball would have got tipped by somebody else and maybe got tipped down. He came in right at the moment. Think how God works, man. God works in mysterious ways. Because he came in the right moment to tip the ball up high enough so the receiver can catch it. And the receiver did not have to move. Not that he made a crazy athletic move. It was he came in knocking up. It just shows that the team is they're a good team, but they're young and they're more interested in what people think about them now because they have Caleb and they think we're gonna get a lot of press.
Yeah,
some stuff is just that was just and I'm not trying to knock him as a person, but dude, pay attention to the game is over with. It's embarrassing for the whole organization. Everybody trying to pinpoint him. That's an organizational type thing. That's dude, what is he thinking?
He fucked up, absolutely, but I'm not, call a timeout and that shit doesn't happen. Where's Eberflus there?
They had plenty of time to talk about the importance of the Hail Mary, et cetera. But for our listeners who don't know the scenario we're talking about, Tyreek Stevenson ran to the end zone on the Hail Mary, didn't realize the Hail Mary had started. He's over there taunting fans, talking
4
shit.
seconds into the play. Yeah.
The Hail Mary comes off. Fans are seen literally pointing, shouting at him, Bears fans, saying, hey, yo, the ball's in the air. yelling at
Yeah.
him to turn around. And to be fair, he did own it. Afterwards, he
He
said,
had no choice. Come on, don't say he owned it. He had no
"No,
He
choice.
but he
had,
did."
yeah.
Like some players could be like, "Oh, well, it was too loud," or they could blame it on a lot of things.
He came.
He
Nah.
said he let the game get too big and he was distracted. But my issue is coming into this game, it is the coach's job to say, hey, we're playing a 5-2 opponent. Jaden Daniels has been hot. We need to be ready for these big arm throws because Jaden's
Right.
got that big arm. Like the fact
Yeah.
that they didn't hammer in the importance and taking a timeout and telling the players every single one of them, getting everyone to focus on that last play on a Hail Mary. Let's not act like the Bears haven't played against Aaron Rodgers in Hail Mary situations before. Like,
Yeah.
you should have known, you should have taken that time out and been like, everyone, your job is to keep the ball away from them. Grab the ball, pull it down, knock it down, whatever, but don't tip it to a fucking receiver
Well,
wide open in the end zone. Like,
to me, the worst part about this game, to me, and this has happened multiple times now for Matt Eberflus, instead of admitting, like Dan Campbell will go up there on the microphone and be like, that's on me. I cost the team a loss. I will learn from it. It won't happen again, right? And the players respect him for it. The fans, the media, everyone loves him for it. Matt Eberflus gets up there and makes excuses and says that he wasn't wrong. It was a 70-yard Hail Mary, and he, instead of playing press defense, he allowed another quick 15 yards to make that a much more manageable throw for Jaden Daniels. On top of that, he doesn't blitz on the Hail Mary. Everyone's back, and that's where you take a timeout to again reiterate: if the ball's in the air, we don't hit the ball up, we knock it down, and we box out. You don't allow a wide open receiver in the back of the end zone. You got to have someone back there boxing out, right, John? I mean, to
No,
me,
I
this
mean,
is basics.
I would say everything you're saying is correct if they didn't work on it in practice that way.
Yeah,
Like the only thing I can say is if they worked on it in practice, saying that this is how we handle situations, like I'm not gonna call a timeout because y'all should know
yeah,
this. Like, because sometimes we used to do the Hail Mary after every practice. Like we
mm,
used to bring Julio in, so we knew how to handle it. So I'm saying that the only way I'm saying that it probably was a problem with the player doing that, if he was been paying attention
yeah,
and not coming late. So that's why I'm saying that you can say it's coaching, but if the coach was so confident in his players, like, oh, we did this like many times, and so he wasn't thinking that, oh God, I was going to be taunting somebody. If he wouldn't have been taunting and doing all that, think about it. That might have been his job to have that receiver in the back. But
yeah.
instead, think about
He's
somebody
out of
coming
position.
quick. The first thing you do is react. So it
Yeah,
could have been like, dude, you supposed to be over here. You supposed to be the one that you supposed to be the safety. You supposed to want to knock the ball down. You're not the one that's supposed to be jumping. Like he came in so late jumping because you had enough people jumping there. So it was
yeah,
like, what was your position really? You
yeah.
just came in and tried to save the play because you look like a dumbass. And I'm not saying he was. I don't know how they do
Look
it.
like
And
it. Yeah.
I can totally understand as a fan saying that he should have called timeout. I can totally understand everything afterwards because don't lie. When you thought the game was over, you thought the game was over. It was just a Hail Mary. You
Yeah.
weren't thinking they were gonna lose the game. I watched every fucking Bears fan, and ain't nobody thought y'all gonna lose that game. So you
Mm-hmm.
can't really blame the coach on that because they coached well enough to win. It was a fluke play that if that one player would have acted right, it might have been different. Because we can blame him for not blitzing, we can blame him for that. But this was, as a player, I would have took this on me. Like if I jump offside and we lose the game, I'm not gonna be like, I'm as a player, I'm saying that was my fault. I don't care if the game was this, and this. I knew it was 3rd and 5 or 3rd and 4. I jumped outside. I gave him first down. The game is over. If you doing your job, you're not trying to, like you saying, getting too caught up in the game. You can blame it on the coach for this because he didn't know his players. The situation was a one-man thing, and I'm not saying that he's the exact reason because they say one play doesn't win or lose a game, but as a player, I would really feel bad about it. Even like Hamilton, I say Hamilton dropping that interception. You can say the whole game. You can't say you won or lost the game, but you kind of lost that game because you dropped that pick. It's like some plays as players, you got to be like, nah, that's me. You know what I'm saying? Like all the other stuff, like regardless of what's going on with everybody else, yeah, he could have did this. We should have did this. You can't just blame him. Sometimes as a player, you got to be like, nah, that's on me. That's on me.
Well,
Like,
to
if
me,
I
it's
did my job, we
also
would have won.
it's a little bit of confirmation bias. I am biased because I was saying all offseason, fire Eberflus, hire
he
Jim
hates
Harbaugh.
Flus.
Right.
Yeah. So Flus is another in the long line of good coordinators that aren't great head coaches. And I want a real head coach in Chicago that we haven't had since Lovie Smith, but you know what they say. Amanda, I mean, this is one of those, in my opinion, when I look at it, this is one of those that makes or breaks a season. You
Mhm.
know, a Hail Mary at the end of the game, the little details. But the Bears had all this confidence and upward momentum. And you win that game, you're 5-2, right in the thick of it in the North. That loss is going to be devastating.
I
I
think
think
they
the Bears miss the
lost
playoffs now.
they lost some of their momentum with the bye week. I think it was a poorly timed bye week for them,
Yeah.
and they went into the bye week cocky. It's the best record they've had in X many
Yeah, they
years.
were feeling themselves.
I feel like they got a little full of themselves, but some stats on this game that are interesting. The Hail Mary 52-yarder was the second longest game-winning touchdown pass by a rookie in NFL history. Tim Couch in 1999 threw a 56-yarder. So awesome stat for
Tim
Dayton.
Couch.
Yeah, to Kevin Johnson, taking it back. And then also, this is the longest since Next Gen Stats has started calculating how long quarterbacks have held the ball for. It's the longest one for a touchdown pass, 12.79 seconds that man held the ball before
Yeah,
throwing
because
it.
we didn't blitz him. We let him
That's a
run around back
year. That
there.
is a year in football seconds, guys. Like, I don't know if
That's
you
a long
understand.
time. That's
That's
high
why
school stuff.
This is why I'm a bit of a Ravens fan now, because I'm so sick of these Bears, man. They've been running me out the door for a while.
You're
Why
not
do you
a
think I
Ravens
jumped on
fan.
the Bills last year? Because the Packers were a mess.
All right, John, the Broncos
Do
were
we
running
don't
up.
need to talk about this game, do we?
They were running up the score on the Panthers, 28-14. J.C. Horn accusing Sean Payton of running up the score. What do you think, John?
Hell yeah, I'm running up the score. Why not? This is an NFL game. This
28
is an
points
NFL.
is not a run-up score.
But I'm saying, me personally, this is an NFL game. Like, if you get scored on that many times, it's a part of the NFL. I want to show people that I'm a good team, and
That's what Sean
Denver,
Payton
Denver
said.
needs that. Denver needs that kind of confidence to show that we're a team that can score. We're a team that can
Yeah,
manhandle people. This is the
yeah,
NFL. Like, I hate when people say people are running up the score. Like, dude, like I said, if you don't want them to celebrate, you don't want to do this, keep them out
stop
the end
them.
zone. It's not running up the
Yeah,
score. It's
yeah.
only running the score. Now, it's different if we were playing like in Little League and you have a team that's 14 playing a 12-year-old team. I get that. These are all grown ass men. If you can't
Yeah.
stop these people just because you feel like you ready to leave because you're getting your ass kicked, that don't make sense. Like, well, I'm ready to go. It's 40-3. I don't want to play no more. Just because you don't want to play no more, I'm trying to get my stats played, boy. Like, you better get up, you better catch up. Like, you
Yeah.
gotta have some kind of man. You gotta man up somewhere in this game. There ain't no such thing as running the score up in the NFL. I don't care. I don't get it. If I can score 70 on you in one half, you should be able to score 70 back on me. This is the NFL, period blank.
Absolutely.
That's idiotic, though. No one with 24 points of offense has ever run up the score. That's not like
Yeah.
a run up score is at least 35 points. Like, I don't care. A
Yeah.
14-point difference is not a run up score. There were 4 other games that had a higher point discrepancy than that game. Eagles,
Right.
Bengals, 20 points. Lions, Titans, what was that?
Yeah,
Like
they were
30.
running up the score. Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, so them even saying anything about that's fucking embarrassing. Like, score more
Yes,
points.
exactly.
Even the
Well,
Chargers over the Saints was a bigger point discrepancy than that. It was 16 points. Like, you're embarrassing yourself by thinking losing by 14 points is a run-up score. Like, just admit you can't put up points and you don't know how to play defense and shut up.
to your point, John, Sean Payton with a great quote to that. They asked him about, were you trying to run up the score? Sean Payton says, quote, "It's the NFL. I've blown 28-point leads before. Play better."
Thank you. Period.
Yeah.
Like, people have come back from 30 points. Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
28 points is nothing. Like Amanda
Right.
said, like, there were other games that got way worse scores. So what are you talking about? People score 50 points in the game. And like I said,
Mhm.
it can
Like, the
easily
Titans can say
flip-flop.
that. The Titans had a right to say that if they wanted to. 52
Yeah, but they
points before
didn't.
the fourth quarter is embarrassing.
They did. They
Hey,
took their loss like a man and moved on. But
exactly. We got to get better.
yeah,
Those kids
We
lost
got
by
to get
38
better.
points, not 14.
Sometimes getting embarrassing is the way to get somebody better. I ain't losing like that again. I don't care.
all right. Are we excited for this matchup? Week 9, the Saints at the Panthers. Who's watching this one? You guys excited?
Tell me who win, man.
I
I'll
wish
see you
that
next
game
Tuesday
was
on that one.
tomorrow.
Get
They
it
should
over
have
with,
scheduled
right?
that for Halloween because everybody's out with their kids. They're gonna miss half the game. It's
That's
48 degrees and
hilarious.
raining here. I would rather be
She
in the
said they
rain.
should have had this on Halloween.
Right? See, this is my point.
It is a pretty scary matchup. I'll say
Ooh,
that.
spooky.
No, them numbers of who watching gonna be spooky. Like, who the hell was this guy?
11 people.
11.
It's gonna be like an
Um,
Oakland A's game in attendance.
Chiefs at Raiders. This was actually kind of good. I didn't watch a second of this game, but watching the highlights, it was actually a pretty competitive game. Mahomes throwing a couple picks, throwing one pick, trying to keep it close. But the Chiefs get the win, of course, 27-20. They improved to 7-0. Johnny, you see DeAndre Hopkins out there with the Chiefs making some plays. It looks like a nice addition.
Well, I wouldn't say making some plays, but he definitely was contributing to it. I think the big thing we got to take away from this win is that this is how good the Kansas City Chiefs really are. I think people are really down in how good they are because they have not played well the whole season. I have not seen them play like just games that you can be like, oh my God, and that is scary as shit to me. Like this is a team that, like, they saying what Patrick Mahomes threw 8 straight games of interception.
Yeah.
Think about when, but the only thing he's throwing is he's still the same guy. You ever seen okay? And I'm not knocking Aaron at all. Just comparison of this year. Aaron throwing picks, but the team is going like this. He throwing picks, the team is going like this. He's done so much to prove what kind of guy he is. The team is like elevating so he can look normal. And that's what's crazy about this team. And I can't see anybody. I'm not saying they're going 17-0. I can't see them doing that. But it's damn near probable. Like if this is like the worst they're going to play, that's some scary shit. And once DeAndre Hopkins really find out what this team's about, it's going to be some shit. It's going to be some smoke in the city. Like, come on now.
They might get Hollywood Brown back come playoff time. They might get who's the other one that got hurt? They're gonna get Isaiah Pacheco back. Like,
I like their next 3 game stretch though. I think if they're gonna lose, it'll be soon. Bucks are coming to town this week. Then Denver the next week. I don't think Denver is going to be the loss. And then they go to Buffalo.
At Buffalo.
I like that matchup.
They beat Buffalo. We might have a 17-0 season. They beat Buffalo, but I think
the rest.
I think they might lose like in the latter part. So because everybody need that game
at Pittsburgh on Christmas.
Yeah, they lose a game and then they get kind of back in their rhythm. I think they're gonna have to lose like one game probably.
Yeah, you have to if you're going into the postseason.
If you're going to win
a perfect season means you're going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. You got to get that loss out of your system.
Yeah, you got to lose one game. Okay, we're good. We can shake it off. We're good.
All right.
No pun intended. Shake it off. No pun intended.
That was good. I see that.
I got
a Swiftie on the show, guys.
I messed up. I didn't.
I can see 4 potential losses here. At Buffalo. At Buffalo, that's a tough game. I'm picking the Bills for that one. Just FYI.
I think they're gonna play well. I don't see 4. I don't see 4 though.
But Amanda's gonna pick at Bills too. So, versus Chargers, December 8th. Let's go Chargers. Versus Texans is a tough matchup, but they should win that one at home. At Steelers on Christmas, that's a loss. At Broncos, January 5th, that's a loss. Just letting you know.
I realize that Netflix is streaming games now. That Christmas game is Netflix.
Wow.
Well, I'm watching on my illegal stream anyway, so.
Same. Shout out China TV. That's not what it's called. Anyway,
how
Cowboys.
About, real quick, Amanda, it took until week 8 for Travis Kelce to get a touchdown. And they're 7-0. What the fuck?
Like I said, bro.
Their schedule has been easy. They find a way to win. I know you're going to say the refs have been helping them a little bit. But I just think it's great coaching, and they've got enough talent spread around the team that they can kind of cover. I feel like Travis Kelce is a little bit out of shape this season. He's got that happy relationship way. He's spending a lot of time making commercials. He's, spreading himself a little thin on the road, visiting his girlfriend and stuff. I'm not saying that, he's fallen off, but, he's got other stuff in his life right now. And previously his focus was football. He's a busy man. He's in love. He's got that 20 pounds of relationship weight.
I heard to that point about the refs. Next season, the Chiefs are no longer going to be called the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to be the NFL Chiefs, and they're going to be wearing black and white stripes. for their jerseys. So anyway.
Terrible.
All right. We're going to move on to the Cowboys at the 49ers before Alex gets on another soapbox.
This was a good game, but two teams we expect both teams to be great, and they're not. Two kind of mediocre teams this year, right, John? I mean,
So one has injuries, so we can't really say that. But the Cowboys are just terrible. That's
Yeah.
the big difference, though. Cowboys don't have any name missing that we're like, oh my God, they don't have him. Like they have Zeke, they have Lamb. They have everybody that's supposed to be their starters. I mean, they might be somebody on the bench that they might be hiding that we don't know about. It's gonna come out like shit like that. But I'm like, no, it's different. You got a depleted team that beats the supposed to be the team. You know, that's they ran the score up, bro. They ran the score up. No, I'm joking. but I'm like, look, it's some stuff is just you're the Cowboys, you're playing the San Francisco team that like running backs out, receiver out. And this is supposed to be the game that you show that we're at least competitive, right? Like I mean competitive as in winning, not competitive as in having the score look good. Like this is a game that you're supposed to win, put you back on the NFC, make you feel a little good about yourself. You know, one of these guys we come in the locker room and you can have a good Halloween, you can have a good Christmas. They probably canceled their Halloween party this week. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like certain things that if you want to show that you're a good team, this is a game that you're supposed to win. Like I mean, Amanda, am I right? Like this is a game that
no, absolutely.
Dallas should have won.
If the Detroit game had not happened, I probably would have picked Dallas in this one with all the injuries on the 49ers. Right. But Dak did Dak things, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. And again, in this situation, I feel like the bye week bit them in the ass. Because they went into the bye week after getting trounced by Detroit 47-9. And, just kind of dwelled on that for 2 weeks and then played an NFC team that's banged up. And I feel like they were too aware of the injuries on the 49ers. I feel like they knew the team was banged up and that they should be able to win and didn't play like the team could beat them because it didn't seem like Dallas was trying that hard. Yeah,
there's something wrong with this Cowboy team. I mean, I don't know. They're not playing good football. They're, I expected them to be a lot more competitive this year, and they just haven't been. I think Mike McCarthy's on the way out. I think this is his last year as Cowboys coach. There's a lot of talk about running back, right? I mean, look at the stats, Amanda. There was no running game for Dallas in this one. They could have,
it's National Tight Ends Day, so
they're asking Jerry Jones about, you could have signed Derrick Henry. Imagine, do you think the Cowboys could be better if they had Derrick Henry back there with Dak?
It couldn't be worse.
Yeah.
I mean, but they have Dalvin Cook and Ezekiel Elliott. They should still be fine on the ground.
Yeah, this isn't 2016 anymore, though. I mean,
I know, but Turpin's there. Like, I'm just saying, they still have, like, it's not like they're missing running backs.
Yeah, they got guys,
They have bodies, use them. Like, Berendo, we didn't think he was going to come into this season. Like, use who you got. Make it work for you. But speaking of it being tight end day, George Kittle in this game, season high 128 receiving yards. And the final game on National Tight Ends Day, they combined for 177 receptions as a position, the most in NFL history on a single day by any tight ends. Like that's
cool.
16 touchdowns.
There's a lot of good tight end talent in the league right now.
Right.
But I feel like the game plan definitely prioritized the position. They were like, all right, well, it's tight ends day. Let's, get the ball to our tight ends so we look good on the compilation they'll put together at the end of the night. It worked. It was right.
What about the Cowboys tight end? Did they do anything?
Nope.
I thought they were throwing to Schoonmaker.
I didn't even know they had a tight end. Who was their tight end? I knew they had one.
Jake Ferguson.
Nah.
Or Jake Witten, as Amanda would call him.
Yeah, he did remind me of Witten in this game a lot. Like the way he runs and like how big he is. Like Witten never looked like he was moving quickly. Even if he's running fast, he still looks like he's slow.
Down the field, yeah.
It's like long legs.
But doesn't it feel like since they paid the Cowboys, and I'm not trying to say this, but this is how Dak always been. But since they paid the guys that need to be paid, like they're just relaxed now. Like it's like if you look at them play, it's
they got their bag.
No, it's no sense of urgency, if that makes sense. Like I don't see a sense of urgency in Dallas at all. Like even if they saying this, oh Dak, they paid him. Oh Lamb, they paid him.
Yeah.
Diggs, they paid him. Like
Yeah.
they didn't pay him exactly when they wanted to get paid, but now it's just like the sense of urgency for these guys to be good. It's kind of like, I'm good for about 4 or 5 years. I don't got to show you nothing now. I don't have to show you anything else now because I'm solidified. I got my cash. I'm good. Like y'all can bring somebody in to help us, but we're good. Like we stuck for 4 or 5 years, so you can't really do like whatever y'all do is fine. You know what I mean? Like it just seemed like they're just stuck. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's the only logical thing. I think you're gonna fire Mike McCarthy and try to get an upgrade at head coach. You go get Bill Belichick or somebody. But yeah, I agree.
Gotta get off
They seem
Belichick.
lifeless.
He's not coming back.
Yeah. Cowboys would be fun with Belichick. That'd be cool.
No, Belichick's having too much fun. He's not coming back.
Did you see Diggs going after the media after that game too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You see, these guys are too relaxed. Y'all not worrying about winning. You worrying about off the field issues. How much money I got in my account. I'm worrying about you worrying about somebody who telling the truth. You worrying about somebody like getting under your skin because y'all losing. If you was winning, like when you're winning, people don't get under your skin.
Yeah.
People can talk trash. They can say this. They can make up stuff about your life and stuff, but you're winning. Like when I was winning, you could tell me my dog died. I'd be like, okay, we'll worry about that when the season over with. But right now, I'm winning. So there's certain things that like when you're actually doing bad and somebody pokes you, you get mad. But if you're doing good and somebody pokes you, it don't bother you. Am I right?
You don't even notice it. Yeah.
I know I didn't do that. I know I ain't doing this. Somebody pokes you, kind of like, oh well. But when you're doing something bad and somebody pokes you, you think like they calling you out. He's trying to call me out. No, bro. He wasn't even bothering you like that. Yeah, you just really got some other stuff going on in here.
Yeah, that's facts. That's a good analogy right there.
Yeah.
Amanda, Monday Night Football, Giants, Steelers.
I feel like we can kind of gloss over this one. I mean,
I think the Giants played well. I think that was the best ball that I've seen from that quarterback. No, I'm just being real. Like if you watch the game,
he didn't play bad. Yeah.
If you watch the game at the beginning now,
0 touchdowns and 2 turnovers. How was that a good game?
No, I'm just saying for me personally, like I saw fire. Like at the end of the game, he thought it was a bad call. He got up. No, I was like, wow, who is this Daniel Jones? He's actually cares. But I mean, they did a good job of throwing short passes and letting other people get the ball. They ran the ball well. I think this was the best game I saw for them the whole year. I know it sounds bad because they're that bad, but I think as the quarterback, because Pittsburgh is actually a good team now with Russell Wilson. And I'm not trying to, beginning of the season, we ain't knew if Russ should have come back. Well, I was kind of like that. But having Russ come in and playing well, the defense playing well, Watt played good. I mean, everybody was playing well, but they didn't fold in this game. And that's what made me feel good about the Giants. Beginning of the game, you kind of couldn't tell. It was 9-6, 6-9. Yeah. And I'm like, they're playing with this game. They're not just out here just like, they're not doing like the Cowboys. I mean, but they're actually trying to win. And this is the first time I've seen Daniel Jones like take initiative. I saw fire in him, and I was just like, I like that. Yeah. And I'm not saying like even though they lost the game, I was happily pleased with the game, the way they played. Now the end of the game was not as good as the beginning of the game. The 2 interceptions that happens in football, I guess. But how you overall play, I think I saw more of him than I ever seen before.
Yeah, I mean, his stats didn't look good, but he made some throws, and it was nice to. I mean, what was up with that 2-point conversion play? Like that's when I saw the most fire out of Daniel Jones. Even he was like, "What the fuck was that?" Like the poor guy.
I like that though. I like the fire though. Yeah. It was a terrible play, but I mean, the fire he showed, like even like. He probably ain't calling the coaches out. He ain't calling the players out. He was just calling the whole team out. Like, what the fuck? Like, we can't even get a 2-point play work. And that's something to do with coaching. That's something to do with players. Like, y'all, we ran this fucking play 30 times. Everybody know this play. Who the fuck didn't block this guy? Like, that's probably why he was mad. Because think about it, ain't nobody blocked him. Like, dude, like, I would have been pissed too, but I'm saying that fire shows that he is human and he does have emotions because I didn't see that when he got benched. I didn't see that in other games. You just see him kind of come out here and took his helmet off and just be looking up at the.
Mm-hmm. Like, no, up until this game, he had the personality of a baked potato. So I agree with you. Still Daniel Jones hater.
Like that, right? There's no emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I need some flavor.
But,
Like even Jay Cutler, when he was like
oh,
apathetic,
Cutler was fun.
he was
He was,
funny. Like
yeah.
the Smoke and Jay Cutler memes are some of my favorite like football lore. Like I have to explain those to my kids when they're old enough to understand what cigarettes are and stuff. But
I
like he
remember
was funny.
he said he was out there on the field and he said somebody's like, tell Mike Martz to shut the fuck up. Like
But
Cutler was awesome.
quick shout out to the rookie running back Tyrone Tracy. 20
Yeah.
runs, 145 yards. He lit that shit up in this game. So he had a great game. And I know we need to wrap this episode up. So Russ
Najee
and
Harris
Pickens,
too.
yeah,
How about
Najee had a great game,
Najee?
114 yards. Russ and Pickens had a beautiful connection in this one. And I was worried about Fields and his connection. But it seems like George Pickens and Russell Wilson were made for each other out there.
Yeah.
Calvin Austin with 2 touchdowns, a 73-yard punt return for a touchdown.
I thought it was a touchdown. I'm sorry. I thought it was a touchdown too. I'm sorry. You just clicked. You said Pickens. That 2-tap I thought was a touchdown. They said no, it's got to be 2 feet. I was like, fuck.
No,
Yeah,
even JJ Watt was like, I thought it said
I
2
thought
feet.
two.
It
I
says
thought
both
2
feet.
tap.
No,
Yeah.
it says both feet. It doesn't say 2 feet because 1 foot touching twice should count.
It
Technically,
should.
it says both.
So, but
So I
doesn't
think
it
that's
should?
going to
It
be a rule
should
change.
count. It seemed like it should count because if my foot touches down and my elbow touches down, that's twice. But
Yeah.
if
Technically,
but if both feet touch down, it seemed like that looked like I was just like, man, yeah. I'm sitting here like watching the game in this little.
I agree.
I'm at the hookah spot and I'm like, oh yeah, he good. That's twice.
Yeah.
That's like 2 feet right there. I said that's 1 foot, 2 foot. They was
No,
like, nah. I
JJ
was
Watt
like,
tweeted about that. He was like, if the rule is 2 feet, shouldn't it 1 foot touching down twice, your other foot's caught up on something? Shouldn't that
Yeah.
count? But technically, in the fine print, it says both feet. So
I
that
don't
is
like
what the
it.
rule
it could be
states.
both feet or another part of your body.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
one
it
knee,
needs
one
to say
elbow,
2 feet.
one butt
Because
cheek.
like you step on a dude's helmet,
Yeah,
technically your
butt
foot
cheek.
didn't touch the ground. It was down on something.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
I
feel
don't
like they
like
should
it.
adjust the verbiage there.
Because like, what happens if you have a hurt ankle and you don't want to put weight on it and you
Just hopping
still
on
want to
one
make
foot.
that catch? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's what Mike Florio was saying. He's like, so technically, you could catch it and hop on 1 foot the entire way
That
down
wouldn't
for a
be-
touchdown,
Mhm.
and it'd be
and it doesn't
incomplete.
count.
I want
Yeah,
to see
that-
somebody
yeah.
in Detroit, not this weekend because I don't think they're going to have a big blowout like they have been. But I want to see somebody on a team who's up 30 points hop on 1 foot and be like,
Yeah.
"Not a touchdown." Like I want to see somebody when they're running up the score do that just to fucking make a
I
point.
literally would feel like if I caught the ball and I had 1 foot in and then my next foot in to get in the end zone, like, let's say if I caught the ball at the 1 and I couldn't get my other foot down and I jumped to my left and I got my left foot in, I'm in the end zone and
Yeah.
I'm controlling the ball. That seems like it would be a touchdown, right?
I thought it
They
was
would
like
be
a
like, no
timing thing, like
touchdown, no
enough
2 feet,
time
nope. I
to get.
could if they did it, I'd be like, you motherfucker.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those, that maybe they need to adjust that
Pedantic.
rule.
Pedantic ass rule.
Yeah, Najee Harris, 3 straight games with 100+ rushing yards. He's running really good right now. TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith, 2 sacks each. My guy, Azeez Ojulari with 2 sacks, 6 on the season. And
I
the
feel like you
Steelers,
like his name more than you like him. I feel like you just really enjoy saying his name.
I'll give you an insight. So when we go back to that draft, I said I would take Azeez Ojulari ahead of Micah Parsons. Now,
Yeah.
that's not looking great right now, but I'm a big Azeez Ojulari fan regardless. So
I just love that you say his full name every time. You enjoy the way it's got a nice mouthfeel. It's cool. It's fine. I like the word dilapidated, Everybody's got a word.
Steelers
It's a good
6-2. They're going to be a threat here down the stretch. And then real quick, let's get out of here. It's a longer episode. Week 9 Thursday night football tomorrow night. The 6-2 Texans at the 2-6 Jets. Houston without Stephon Diggs and Nico Collins. It's now or never for the Jets. If they can find a way to win this one, they got some winnable games on deck. Maybe they can turn this around. Texans at Jets. Who you got, John? I can see the hat. Are you going Jets? Jets.
Yeah, I'm going to Jets. I'm going to Jets, and I'm trying to keep this short. I'm going to Jets because I feel like the Texans have a better defense, they have a better offense, they have a better special team, but the Jets just need to win.
They're more desperate.
I'm giving them some of my mojo, man. The better team is the Texans, but I really feel like the Jets are are destined to break the scheme.
Amanda, we know you're going Texans. It's because you hate Aaron Rodgers because he's no longer wearing Packer green.
No, I was gonna wear, if it wasn't Halloween and I didn't already have costumes lined up with the kids, I would wear my father-in-law got me a Jets Rodgers shirt. I would wear that for this game because my issue with this game is you let who beat you last week? I don't like no losing to the Patriots shows me how much of a dumpster fire you are right now. Like I can't pick you after losing to the Pats. Like there's no leadership. The coaching is questionable. The season is gone. Why would anything be different? Like Devontae Adams came in 2 weeks ago. He's done what? Like nothing is getting easier for them. They had a bounce back opportunity. That should have been a dead giveaway win last week. You can't beat the Patriots, but you think you can beat the 6-2 Texans? Stephon Diggs, I don't care. He's gone. Nico Collins doesn't matter. They're still going to lose to the Texans.
It doesn't matter. You got the Texans? Well,
yeah. I know you wanted to pick him.
He's got the 11-game lead. This is where I cut it to 10. Let's go Jets. It's not just end the season. It's Jets, Jets.
Jets.
Yeah.
You know, maybe picking against him will give Aaron Rodgers another like RELAX conversation, or we're just going to run the table or something. I want to see some life out of that team. I want to root for the Jets. That's half of the players are Packers.
You got to go to the dark side, baby.
I know what it
looks like. Jets. I've been there. You got to go to the dark.
They got to start fucking winning. I have Jets gear. I have Brett Favre Jets jersey. I have an Aaron Rodgers Jets. Like, I will root for them if they'd stop sucking.
Right.
You were rooting for the Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian Jets last year, so you can hold it out.
Some of the shit this man says, guys. Don't believe everything he says.
All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Great content as always. A lot of fun. John, thanks for coming on the show. Always appreciate your insight. Amanda, good shit as always. Prepare for your 11-game lead to evaporate with quickness. And have a great week, guys. Peace out.
Evaporate.